What is up, YouTube? This is Sam, your favorite, or hopefully your favorite app and web developer. And to tell me a bit about myself, if you don't know me, I make websites, I make apps for business owners. I've been creating content for a bit over a year on Instagram, and I'm trying to get a bit more active on YouTube as well. And I'm around business owners quite a lot, and I see how they operate. And so when I talk about these topics, I like to say I do talk from experience. And so the topic that I did want to cover today was, when business owners get a bit too busy, or they get to a certain level where they need to hire some people, they need to hire people to either do the more mundane tasks of the day that they simply cannot afford to do anymore, or let's say they want to scale their company and need to bring in an expert for certain task or certain thing they need to do. And so when these things do happen, one major issue is managing them and communicating with them, because the thing is, when they come into your field, most of the time they're probably this is the first time they've worked in that field, or if that isn't the first time they work in that field, you probably have some unique ways of operating your business that other business don't use. And it's really important to have good communications with them, to constantly know what they're doing and monitor their work. But this isn't as easy many times as it may be portrayed to be, because the thing is, most people use messages or Telegram or something else, or the Discord chat, if you're a bit more Gen Z, I guess. And when you do use these apps, what tends to happen is, let's say you give a task through messages to one of your employees, and you tell them to do a certain thing that needs to be done by late afternoon, and then by late afternoon the messages have already been flooded so much by side conversations, or some questions, that they can't really even find it anymore. And let me just turn the light on here. They can't really find what you send them anymore, and so some of the things don't get done on time, or don't get done as quick as you'd like them to get. And there's a lot of problems with using these apps for communication and giving people a certain task to do. Because also another thing is, say you have 10 or 12 different tasks in the given month, or some businesses even have more, where people need to collaborate on them. So you start making all these group chats, but then there's so many of them that they get lost, because you as the business owner, you have a lot more of these group chats than the employees do, because the employees only have the ones that they are involved in. But you have all of these chats, and it can be hard to maintain sometimes, because in the chats, a lot of people might have some side conversations, or some questions, and you have to read all of through that to potentially not miss something important. And what tends to happen is the work quality gets worse over time, and the speed also gets worse over time, because people just can't find what you've told them to do. And what I've seen works really good, and I've done this for some businesses, is having like your own platform where you give people tasks, and it's not just through messages. You have a dedicated page on a platform where people can see the tasks assigned to them, and they can see who they're working with, and if they need to, they can also chat with the collaborators, and you don't need to go through all of that to see if they have any questions, and to see if everything's going well, because you'll have the report all through the platform. And this is really easy to use, and I wish a lot more people knew about these things, because they are spending so much time just trying to stay afloat, that they can't really scale. And having employees becomes really more of a headache than a way for them to relax, because a lot of business owners, they want to have a bit more time to relax, in their day-to-day, a bit more time to spend on the tasks that they do want to do, or something outside of business, go to a vacation. And when you hire an employee and you have to manage them 24/7, this is a bit of a problem, because then you can't really enjoy yourself, and the whole point of hiring an employee really gets thrown out the window. And this doesn't have to be your own platform. I don't want to make this video just a kind of me promoting myself and the apps that I do make. You don't have to have your own app or your own dedicated platform. You could use something like Go High Level or Notion. Some people like to use Notion, and there's a lot of these platforms that you can use, and you don't necessarily have to have your own. The thing with having your own is customizability, right? Because if you hire me or somebody else, you can customize it. You can just I have a lot of the business owners I work with, they can just text me, hey, I really need this done, can we do this by tomorrow? And of course we can, right? So yeah, the thing with having your own is customer support and accessibility and customizability, and you can add or remove functions anytime you want, right? But yeah, you can use Go High Level. You can do some more research on what platforms to use. There's really a lot of them, and you just have to look for your own and see what works best for you. But get yourself a platform like this. I promise you won't regret it. You're gonna save yourself so much time that you can finally start to enjoy yourself. And if you go a level further and say start to use AI agents, and instead of 5 employees you have 3 agents and 2 employees managing the agents, then you're on a whole nother level. Because Claude, at the maximum of its peak usage right now, costs about $200 a month, and honestly I myself use it a lot, and I share it with a lot of other people who use it a lot on the daily basis as well, and I haven't run out yet. I've run out once, and it was because I was using the Fable 5 model. If you don't know it, it was actually banned at some point because of how powerful it is. But honestly, if you want to go a level further, just get some AI agents, but that is for a whole nother video. But yeah, the whole thing for this video was, if you are hiring people and you don't want to manage them 24/7 through messages, find yourself a platform. If you have any questions, this is my Instagram link. This is my Instagram right now. I'll put it on the screen. I'll put it in my bio or the description. You can DM me any questions you have. I am available 24/7. I respond within 24 hours, if not even sooner. But yeah, any questions, you can always DM me. I'm always happy to help. And stay tuned. Please subscribe to the page, put a like, put a comment, and I'll see you guys on the next one.